Nice.
All right. So welcome to episode 38 of the Golf Performance Group podcast and Zoom boxes again. You have your host, Lebronald Palmer, and
the golf bod, JJ Wood.
You still are messing it up. It's just the
well, it's the only time I've said it. I gotta start calling myself that more often in my day to day.
Yeah, we have
Taylor Cusack, T-Sack.
Yes, who just recently, come to find out, got tagged in a post by a famous golfer. So come and tell us about now even more of your stardom that you're going into now that you're also Fred Funk's daughter. Go ahead and let us know.
Apparently. So, yeah, I checked my Instagram and there is a big money group, I guess. It happened on January 4th. And it's like, congratulations to Fred Funk and son Taylor Cusack for playing in the... I'm like, what did I play in? And who's my dad? What? Wrong person. So I tag him back, or I message him back, and I'm like, hey, I'm super happy for you, but you tagged the wrong person. And his son commented back, Taylor, and was like, man, he probably really wishes that he played with you instead of me, but that's cool. Yeah. And the guy was like, oh crap, I tagged the wrong person.
To be that famous where someone pulls your Instagram. I mean, JJ, you and I are nothing. I mean, if you think about it, we are nothing. I mean,
so I got to tell you my most recent show, because I don't think we've done a podcast since. It's called The Vow. It's that sex cult from Albany, New York. It's a real life thing. It's a documentary, and but they pulled in a lot of celebrity ladies. I mean, Taylor, you better be careful on who approaches you to get. They market it as, or they did market it as personal growth and development, and then a lot of business leaders. So, but when you say celebrity in a girl,
there's actually
Allie Mack or something. What's that show called?
I don't know that
really
show.
You got to look it up, because this guy played golf was like, you got to watch this. So I started watching.
Is it a documentary?
Like, oh my God.
What is this?
Yeah, I think 2018 Keith Rayner. He scored a 240 on the IQ test. Like, he's a genius. And so at first I was pretty intrigued, because it was basically like psychology of how to overcome fears and grow. But then he became a big time, and these celebrities started coming, and he was pervert, and he's a little, you gotta watch it, but don't get trapped now that you're on the radar.
Taylor,
you're into stuff that.
They probably tagged Taylor for that specific reason. They were attempting to see if they could pull her in.
Yeah, and then you don't know what the next step may be. They may ask you to play golf, work on your short game, and then you're tied in. It really helps your short game, and then you don't know where it goes.
I'm going to start getting into some jiu-jitsu and
that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
They practice that at the compound. They do all kinds of stuff at the compound. They do yoga.
Do
you know what I'm talking about, Breon?
I know
what I told. They're like, I remember seeing that on the news.
I do know what you're talking about. I will find the documentary. But speaking of crazy shows, there's two crazy shows. One I want to talk about. We'll go into the second one, but I'll mention it first. The season premiere of America. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But to JJ's point and Taylor learning jiu-jitsu, there's a show on Netflix called Warrior Nun. All right. It's the most ridiculous show you'll ever see in your life, but it's
Warrior
nuns.
Nun. I'm going to write it down.
But it's nuns who do karate and jiu-jitsu and save the world.
To watch.
It was on my Netflix feed. It's a real show. It's a fake show. It's fiction. But it's a cult of nuns that save the world. They're basically the Avengers, but nuns. It's a good show. Trust me. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't good. I watched the whole.
I'll try to watch the first episode.
I watched it on New Year's Day. So I watched the whole thing on New Year's Day. So it was worth it. It was worth
my gosh.
It's only 45-minute episodes. There's 6 or 7. So it's worth the 4-hour event.
So let's talk a little bit about the football. How do you are you excited about OU's performance? I know Florida had their top tight end out, but we dominated them. And so how are you feeling about OU next year?
I think Spencer Rattler goes into the season Heisman favor. I think
because he grew this year, yeah.
Oh, without question. The first 2 games, I was like, I don't know if he's the guy. But after that, and then also pretty much all of our players are coming back except for Creed
Creed's
and
not,
Rambo.
yeah.
And Rambo transfer. But
I just
everyone
like
else is coming back.
Rambo. Word Rambo. When did freaking Trey Sermon leave? Last year or the year before?
No, Trey Sermon, he left like 2 years ago. It was like 2 years ago.
Okay, so this was his second year with Ohio State.
No.
Like all the years mixed
No,
up.
this was his first year. He had to sit out because of the transfer portal.
But yeah. So how many years do you have left?
No, he's done. This is it. This is his senior year. Yeah, so if he wins the championship, good for him. I did see Baker Mayfield and the coaches throwing some jabs at each other on Twitter, which was kind of weird. You know,
so he was Baker's running back, right?
Yeah.
Last year for Baker.
And Trey complained that he didn't get enough playing time, so they blamed the coaches. And then that coach now coaches at UT.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's kind of where all this started. How
good are our running backs, though? I mean,
incredible.
I feel like every time I turn on the game, I don't know who it is. And now this last game, there was another guy. I don't know. Was he number one or what was his number? He was pretty tall for a running back. He broke one loose for like 50 yards.
We always have, in my opinion, in the country for college football, top 5 quarterback, top 5 receivers, and top 5 running backs every year. It's just been our defense that's kind of held us back. Our defense
got better this year, though.
It did.
At the end.
If that can continue going into 2021, then we'll be doing all right. Taylor, go ahead. What were you about to say?
Why do you have a golf net in front of your door? Who are you trying to catch?
Golf balls.
I've been watching the bow. I mean, don't worry about my strategy.
No one can walk in. You can't walk out.
I had to get, because Breon's all about the lighting. I had to get under a spotlight in my hitting bay because my desk in the corner is like gloomy. So I pulled my desk under the hitting bay.
A little.
Yeah, back there, no one goes back there unless you're approved by the master. That's what Keith calls himself, the master.
I was just staring at it. I was like, okay, that's not in front of the door. Why is that in front of the door?
No, that's back. Well, it's like full of junk right now, but I'm about to clean it hopefully sometime soon to make it a little office. Sometimes I'm back there, but I have to like pull up a table in the middle of all the junk. It's not real comfortable.
All right,
Breon, you were talking about the premiere of America.
Yeah. We have to talk about the season premiere. You know, the season finale of America was interesting as it got with the election. But the season premiere of America, like the way 2021 opened this year, I mean, this has got to be one for the books. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, so what are y'all first impressions of?
Well, I think what's crazy about this is obviously now that I'm getting older and I'm an adult, and it's so weird to think we're living in a time right now that my kids, Breon, your kids, are going to read about in a freaking textbook in history class.
Yeah.
That then 2020, the coronavirus, blah, 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 blah. In 2021, 6-7 days into, they stormed the Capitol and this happened. And I'm like, Mom, you lived that? Well, yeah, honey, back in the day. Yeah. Like, that's so weird to think about. So
the Capitol is supposed to be the most secure place in the United States of America besides the White House. At that time, all 535 members of Congress, the House of Representatives, all senators were there at one time. Like all of them were there at one time. So no one has breached the Capitol walls since like 1816. This has never happened. So I'm telling you now, when they did the Black Lives Matter.
Do you think it has something like how they reacted had something to do with Trump, which is idiotic to encourage people to come protest during a time like this? Do you think that's why they're a little more lenient?
No,
because Trump kind of encouraged it.
It shouldn't be lenient at all.
It shouldn't be lenient at all. That's what I'm getting at.
But I feel like that's how it's getting in our society. Like you just share your beliefs and you do what you want, and no one's punished ever.
I kind of agree with that. I mean, it is getting way too lenient on
everyone has their own freedom of speech.
Freedom
of speech is bullshit. Like crazy. You gotta be an adult and you don't act certain ways.
But I'm telling you right now, if it was me and other people who look like me, today it would have been "See You at the Crossroads" being played on all the news stations because they would have been shooting people off of the Capitol building as they tried to climb up. I can guarantee because it's happened before in history.
Do you think it's going to create more riots now from the other side?
No, I don't think it's
you
going
don't
to
think
happen.
they're gonna? Because
No.
I see on the TV like every basketball player's kneeling. Every Doc
Kneeling
Rivers
is not the same as
I
going to the
know,
Capitol.
but I'm just gonna say we all have good and bad. Like you have the good trying to make changes, like Black Lives Matter, but then you always get the guys in the back that just want to set fires and loot, right? On the white side, you do the same. Yeah, I'm just saying in general, but I'm saying now that the people on TV are addressing it and kneeling, and they're superstar, like our not sports figures, but people we look up to. Do you think that's going to encourage people down the ladder to start doing stuff again?
Nah.
I hope not. I hope this was almost kind of like the last straw, and everybody's I wish. I mean, but it's scary to think too. Like this was allowed to happen, and imagine if this would have been or could have been a terrorist group or somebody coming in to bomb. What if someone would have had a bomb? What if someone would have
had bombs?
Something?
They had 6 bombs.
Okay,
I heard to change from the race thing. I did hear yesterday morning before this happened on the news. There was a terrorist threat caught through the airline channels. Like they caught it though. Do you know what that was all about?
No, I haven't heard that.
I haven't heard
that one. So
I mean, all this fighting amongst our people. I mean, someone from the outside these terrorist groups is going to take advantage and strike something big when we're fighting with each other.
Yeah, and most of my opinion on politics is it's never about race. It's usually a class thing. Like you've got class of people who have the resources and the power, where the rest of the class of people are trying to get the resources and power. So that's
you also saw how classless these people were.
That's a good way to say it.
Like that's not even. They're not even in a category. Like I would never hang out with any of those type of people. Like you call yourself an adult,
but you do hang out with people like that. You just don't know it.
In general. But like I don't associate my friend group with someone that's going to be like, hey, you're going to go storm the Capitol yesterday? Yeah, I'm all about that. Absolutely not. Are you psycho? Get away from me. I don't need that person in my life. Like I don't know. I don't know.
I think
I don't put up with it.
The stuff we see, I think, is like the bad eggs. I don't think all Trump supporters are like that, obviously.
Of course.
But but it's just ridiculous how they can. I don't know. They didn't get bombed, and
I think it's kind of both ways. Like you see the extreme, like you see the horrible,
the news has to
crazy
for people
person of the Trump supporter, and then the Biden. You see the absolute crazy. One's as far left as you can possibly. One is as far right as you can possibly be, and that's what the media shows. Obviously, there's going to be people in the middle. There's going to be people that see both sides. There's going to be people that agree with certain things that Biden says and agree with certain things that Trump says, but to stoop so low to get to what happened yesterday is just unexcusable, and it's not even. I mean, I'm glad that we're talking about it, but it sucks that we're giving those people this.
I think it's a perfect example of why Trump. I think a lot of people liked his politics on the red side, but a lot of them didn't vote for him because of stuff like this. Like he encouraged these people. If you think through it, like he just. Like his personality, like his behavior, like he had some good politics that the right side liked, but a lot of those people didn't vote for him because he's such an arrogant human being and he's selfish and he's, all that. So,
but we do. I mean, obviously, like I said, I would be. So you can blame anyone who's listening to this. You can blame this conversation on me because I would feel
we are. It is.
I would feel.
I thought we were just going to touch on it.
No, I would feel bad if we didn't address what happens, especially like that in the country. Like, regardless of what people's opinions are, as you can see, we're able to have a conversation, and that's what I wish other people were able to do. Like, that's the problem.
I'm saying. Grown adults listen to these politicians debate now. It's just bickering. Like nothing in that. There are leaders. So what is our society going to be like?
and I read something yesterday, and I hope I don't get it wrong. It was something like we spend $750 either million or $750 billion on protection for the Capitol. Something. Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's
crazy.
I'm sure it's probably a billion.
Yeah.
And it went to, where was that? Where was the protection? At first they told them, okay, everybody get under the desk, get under your chair. Is it
like a tornado drill
bombing? Yeah, like what? Like that's what you do to protect in the Capitol? Like, is there not a crazy big safe room where everybody goes and gets locked in?
Probably. I'm sure Trump and whoever he likes was in that room.
Like it almost seemed like we were watching The Purge.
I know. I can't wait until we have.
Did they have it live?
They did have it live. It was live on TV.
So how are cameras in there?
Like, the cameras are always in. They're always in the Capitol.
Security cameras, or was
no?
Like,
that's media. Media is always in the Capitol.
How are media cameras getting?
They're always in the Capitol. They follow the votes and stuff like that. Like C-SPAN is a 24-hour station for the Capitol, so they're always in there. Media is always in there.
But they were inside the White House.
No, this was at the Capitol.
They're just outside. Okay, but where were they inside?
So the media, before we go to the season premiere of the golf, C-SPAN is a station that covers the Capitol. So they cover House of Representatives, Supreme Court, and the Senate. They have cameras all through that place, closed circuit. They're all.
So no wonder whenever I see that channel, it like makes me kind of like,
yes.
I never
You're like, what is going on?
It just seems like a bunch of old people in the 80s.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah, that C-SPAN was set up in like the 60s, and it's basically just closed circuit to watch what happens in the government. But to change topics, for those of you who stuck with us past our political conversation,
I probably lost 90% of our listeners.
Hey, if we lose them, they'll come.
We lost 9 out of our 10 listeners.
But I also want to say, like, we are adults, we are grown-ups. Please stop acting ridiculous. I mean, if you do not
agree
have something
to disagree.
Okay, JJ's different, guys. JJ's way different.
No, I'm saying we all have different beliefs. Just let us respect
exactly. Like everybody just heard, all three of us, we probably all three have different opinions, but we are able enough to have an adult conversation and listen to each other's opinion, listen to what everybody else had to say, not JJ, but everybody else. And just, I mean, it's getting ridiculous. You are listening, JJ. It's just getting ridiculous. And I hope everybody can eventually see that everybody's opinion does matter. Even if somebody is not right, somebody is wrong. Just listen to what they have to say and try to be an adult and just smile and just move on throughout your day. It's not going to affect you. Just keep going. And
it's definitely not going to affect you. Yeah, it's definitely not. So,
amen, Cusack.
Yes, Cusack with the knowledge for us on 2021. Okay,
the fortune cookie of 2021.
So the season premiere of the golf season, we have the Sentry Tournament of Champions that starts in now 3.5 hours in Hawaii.
I wish I was in Hawaii.
I wish I was as well. So I'll share with you who I picked. So they say that the best player at this event is Dustin Johnson, of course, but I don't think Dustin Johnson came prepared to play golf this week.
Hold on. I want to clarify how dominant in the last 7 tour events he's played. I don't think we realize this. I heard this stat on Golf Central, I think last night or this morning. Last 7 starts, 3 wins, 3 runner-ups,
yes,
and a 6th place finish and a Masters win.
Yes.
Is that not amazing? That's like Tiger-esque back in his prime.
Taylor was saying that last week or 2 weeks ago.
I know, but I didn't hear like the runner-up, 3 runner-ups, and they're like majors. I mean,
yeah.
3 wins, 3 runner-ups, and a 6th is his worst. Like,
and it was like $12 million in earnings.
Or
how much do you think his endorsements? Well, then he got the $10 million bonus for.
Oh, I forgot all about the $10 million for winning. Yeah. So he probably made $20 million.
And then double it with his endorsement. Oh, 15. So $27 million, and then probably double that with his endorsement incentives and bonuses.
He's just hanging out with Paula, having the best old time. You know, I mean, just living the best life right now. So.
I think he's been living the best life for a while, but
he clearly is living the best life now. I mean, like at this point,
he's just got more in savings.
He was savings. I mean, so now my card. This is what I picked. So my A player this week I picked was Xander Schauffele. I think he had some bad beats towards the end of last year. So if anybody's going to come motivated in Hawaii, because he already lives in Southern California, so who cares about the weather? He's good to go. He's my A player this week. What do you think about him being my A player?
Have you not looked at the COVID report? He just came off COVID. Yeah. Yeah, so I was listening, driving to the course yesterday, and that Jason Sobel, maybe is he the gambling
Action
guy?
Network. Action
But-
Network.
Yeah, so that
but-
he was like he was going to be my A player, but he's coming off COVID, and he said, "I feel okay, but I'm still a little lethargic." And
okay.
he said,
that's what I was
"Don't
gonna
waste
ask.
them."
I was going to ask if he was asymptomatic or if he was actually really hurting.
So my B player was gonna be Patrick Kentley, so I probably need to move him to my A then.
I got a guy, Patrick Reed, switched coaches, and usually when he switched, there's new ideas, new thoughts. You're going to be excited. Maybe he's going to play well. So go with him.
Mm-mm.
I just don't like Patrick Reed.
Yeah.
I just don't.
But don't you only get to pick so many players throughout the year?
4.
Like, waste them right now.
Yeah, well, I'm picking 4 for this event, so I'll think about that.
Nobody likes Patrick Reed. He just makes you go.
I mean,
I agree. But if you
not
want
a
to get him
bad
out
guy.
of the way,
He
he might get lucky. He's hot. He's got a new swing thought.
He's got a new coach.
He's all pumped up. He believes in it right now. He's not going to.
I will never get the video out of my head where he's trying to hit a flop shot over a sand trap, and the camera guys are too close, and they're jingling change in their pocket, and he's like, "Just get away from me! Just get away from me!" And just
wasn't that in Europe too?
It probably was. I do remember.
I think it was a European tour event. It just makes Americans look worse again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now my card is even more struggle. My C player was supposed to be Billy Horschel.
I don't have any intel on him.
Okay,
I was waiting for JJ.
No COVID, no anything.
He's just a little too intense for me sometimes.
That's why I like him, because if even in Hawaii he's going to be intense. That's why I picked him. I think he's
everyone else on vacay.
Yeah, I think he's.
Who is your D player?
And then my D player is Brendan Todd.
I've been watching his coach's videos. He has some good stuff. Maybe he's going to click this week.
Middle of the road player. He's not, I don't anticipate him to win, but top 10 would be solid, real nice. Yeah. That would be good. So this is
and he's one of those guys that has the mindset, I got to get off to a good start for the year, because he has lost his card before, so I think he might be more motivated. Those type of guys, like where he's won recently, but he still probably has that motivation to get off to good starts, so he's not stressing out towards the end.
Yeah, because that money matters, especially now that all the big guns, no one's hurt this year. Brooks isn't hurt. Tiger isn't hurt. Rory isn't hurt. Dustin seems to be playing good. So all your top A guys are playing like A guys finally for the first time in probably 10 years. Did anyone notice
I tried to take a drink with my cap on?
I did notice that, and I laughed. Yep. I didn't want to say nothing. I said,
no, you guys didn't.
I've just been waiting for you to get the wrong cup.
I know, the dip cup.
The dip cup.
All right, so another thing I want to get, we were going to do rookie, but I don't know enough of the rookies. I tried to look at it, but I do know player of the year. So last year, our player of the year, of course, was Dustin Johnson. I mean, that was obvious. JJ kind of gave us a rundown. Even last week, Taylor was talking about how much money he made over that short period of time. Okay.
So much money.
So we've got player of the year and then comeback player of the year also. Tiger, I think, will be in the running for comeback player of the year this year, just because he had such a poor year with the start and stops from COVID, especially coming off the Masters win the previous year. Any idea who do y'all think might have a year that wasn't anticipated, and then we'll go to player of the year next. So I picked Tiger as my comeback player.
I'm going to agree with Tiger.
Okay, you think so? Why do you say that?
Because he was so down this past year with not playing much. He didn't really have it. He didn't have any time to get into a rhythm or any of that. Now everybody's had a chance to adjust with the COVID, set a schedule and for Tiger, he's so strategic with that stuff. I think when COVID hit, his plan was out of whack, and he's all about that plan and all that.
Okay, Taylor,
what do you think? What do you think about Jon Rahm? I know he did really well, but he was projected to win I got some faces right there.
Comeback player of the year, number 2 in the world.
No, I know, but he was projected to win a lot more than he did.
He was projected to win a lot of events, and he won one time.
He never really kind of showed up.
No, he won one. He won at the most 2. DJ.
Yeah, he was projected to win 8 tournaments this year or something, and I don't feel like. I mean, he was there, but it never kind of really happened.
I would say you would call him player next year's player of the year. Because if he has a better
Okay.
year, he's probably going to be player of the year.
Okay. What about Jordan Spieth then? Can he get it together finally?
I don't know.
I just never thought he was that great. Like, I think he's great, but not for what he did 2013 through 15.
Okay.
So I don't think he's going to get that back.
He won a lot back then. I mean, that was
because he made freaking everything, and he believed, and he was younger. Now he's seen the downside, kind of like Tiger 2009.
Yeah,
but Jordan Spieth's not Tiger.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right, player of the year. Taylor, who do you think? Do you want to go with John Rahm for your player of the year then?
Yeah.
Okay, John Rahm for your player of the year. I could see that. JJ, what do you think? Player of the year?
I'm going to say Rory because before COVID, he was hot. Now that he's got a chance to adjust as well, Rory's just so dang good. I mean, him and DJ are the two best if they're on their games.
And I'm going to go with the bulk. I think he figured out last year that you really can't overpower every golf course. So I think he's going to be more selective in when he attempts to do that whole I'm driving the ball 400 yards every hole. Because there were some holes where he made like 11s and 12s and 13s, which broke like PGA Tour records.
And then,
he did the Masters, the U.S. Open, and at the Tour Championship, where he made like 12s on holes. And I just don't think he's going to make those same mistakes. I just don't think that makes a lot of sense. So I would go with him because he does have the ability to win a lot of events. I just think it's up here for him. It's up here now.
How crazy would it be if he came into next season and lost like 60 pounds? And he's like, okay, just kidding. 2020, I was just joking with you guys. Well, and now he's like back to, normal weight. He's like, I'm going to play smart now, guys.
The way season premiere of America started, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, nothing would shock me going into 2021. So I'm eager to see this golf season. I hope we have a regular season. I think they figured out the COVID protocols. I think they figured out how to get people as fans at the events now also. So everybody in golf business is still doing great. I read an article the other day that they had their best equipment year in the last 20 years this most recent year, which is crazy to me. Which is crazy. Yeah, but, I'm hoping that trend continues. So as we wrap up, of course, for the people who, again, hung with us through our political and golf talk, anything you want to leave the people with before we get out of here as we have finally a golf tournament to watch this year? Any tip, anything?
Cusack?
I was looking at JJ.
Ladies first.
Okay, I have a question. Not a tip. I have a question. So I just recently got a inside practice putting mat. What do you think about those? Do you think they help your game or hurt your game?
I think it could only help if you work on like starting line short putts. Like make sure you have you could do the ruler drill where you roll down that. You could do, but make sure your fundamentals are really good. Get that really dialed in. And if you have a blast sensor, you could do tempo consistency. I don't know how long your mat is, but
it's as big as my front room. It's humongous.
Oh, that's awesome. Then, do you know the step meter? Do you know how to gauge the step meter on it?
I mean, I don't have one, but how do I figure that out? I mean,
you just get a yardstick, 36 inches. Get your iPhone, put it at a 20-degree angle.
What?
And I'll show you. Want me to demonstrate? I'll send you a video when we're done.
Let's use the video for Instagram.
Put a line, put like a 15-foot line, and just try to get your speed control. If you got that much room, I would just try to get your speed control and then do starting line. That's all you need.
It's a wonderful. But
just make sure it's a realistic,
realistic
speed and all that. But
yeah. I would guess it's running at like a 9, maybe.
That's perfect for average golf course.
Okay. So, JJ, you'll put that video together for us to use on Instagram.
And that'll be my tip.
That'll be a good video. Yeah, that'll be your tip
I can't wait to see this.
I can't wait to see this crazy video either. Put your iPhone at 20 degrees. What is he talking about?
You're not a yardstick.
I'm on another level. I'm just very analytical.
Clearly. You clearly are the mad scientist of the group. So
putting inside is great.
Good. But, you're just working on straight putts, so, starting line. And then if you have that big of a mat, Yeah, well, it's just as good as anything in my opinion because you have a probably more consistent roll than you do on these greens with grain and ball marks and spike
Right.
marks.
In Oklahoma, it's about 30 degrees outside right now, and I would not like to go to the golf course. So I'm going to stay in my
It's just
PJs in my
really,
living room.
it's just like chipping on a simulator would be better than nothing, but it's not
Yeah.
really the same.
It's not as good.
You know?
Right.
Or like playing virtual golf because you're not really dealing with the mental aspect of a house right there, you know. So, but putting, I think, is just as good for straight putts. Now you can't do the downhill, uphill, side hills, all that. But if you get creative, I can show you how to do that if you want.
No, we don't. We just want the video for Instagram. Well, look, that's been episode 38 of the Golf Performance Group podcast. If you probably didn't like what you heard, you still need to follow us on Instagram at golf_pod. You can find this on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, all of your favorite streaming apps. We're also on YouTube at Golf Performance Group. And then you could also find JJ. What are your handles again, sir?
JJ Wood Golf and at Golf Performance Group.
And Taylor, what are your handles again?
At Taylor Cusack.
And you can find me at Lebronald Palmer. And I'm open to have political talk with anybody.
I knew that was coming.
That's a part of my wheelhouse. That's a part of my wheelhouse. So
it makes me nauseous to talk politics.
That's been episode 38 of the Golf Performance Group podcast. We're out.